What's going on everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name's Jack and I'm here to give you 100% confidence in the kitchen, and together we can learn and cook the most fantastic and delicious foods. Have you ever found yourself contemplating whether or not you should use chickpeas in your recipes? Well, in this one, I'm going to get you thinking twice about the next time you might say no to them by showing you how to make the most rich, delicious and creamy coconut chickpea curry. If you're new to the channel, I'm a chef by trade and my whole purpose is to teach you absolutely everything I know, so please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright guys, let's start this off with one medium to large size brown onion. All we want to do is slice off the end opposite the root, lay it on the flat surface and slice it in half through the root. We can then remove the skin, and yep, you guessed it, save it for a stock. What we're then going to do is dice the onion by making thin slices stopping at the root. Slice the onion in half through the centre, again stopping at the root, and then come through and finally dice the onion. Make sure to trim off any excess flesh from around the root to avoid any wastage. And we can also save the roots for a stock. Next, grab yourself one medium to large size red bell pepper, which is also known as a capsicum. Place it core side down with the bottom sticking up towards you and carefully slice around the core to make nice even sized slices. Also, doing it this way is a lot cleaner than slicing it in half because you won't have any seeds flying all over your board or kitchen. Once that's done, all you're left with is the core, seeds and pith, to which we can chuck into a compost bin. Now with the slices, it seems logical to slice them skin side up, but unless your knife is razor sharp, it's dangerous to do so and the knife could possibly slip and cause serious damage. So what we're going to do is flip the pepper over and slice it into nice thin strips. This way you won't have to use much pressure and you'll end up with nice clean slices. Now the last ingredient we're going to prepare is 5 cloves of freshly peeled garlic. And all we want to do is run it along a fine microplane or grater to create a paste, which is also known as minced. And then once that's done, make sure to scrape out any garlic just to avoid any wastage. Now to cook this, place a large heavy base pot onto your stovetop over a high heat, and once hot, pour in 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of olive oil. Then to this, we're going to add in our diced onion. And saute this off for 2 minutes for the onion to slightly soften and colour, stirring it around pretty frequently. Once that's done, we're going to add in the garlic paste or minced garlic, as well as the thinly sliced red bell pepper or capsicum, and continue sauteing for 3 minutes, stirring it regularly, just for the pepper to soften and for the garlic to release its flavour. Once that's been sauteing for 3 minutes, we're going to chuck in 2 tablespoons or 10 grams of ground cumin for a warm earthy flavour and aroma, 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of sweet paprika, which is going to add great colour as well as a slight sweetness, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which is optional and will add a great spice to the dish, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes, to which we're going to mix through the vegetables and fry for 15 to 20 seconds to release maximum flavour, and make sure to mix this around the whole time just so it doesn't burn. After 20 seconds, we're going to pour in half a cup or 120 milliliters of vegetable or chicken stock to deglaze the pot, as well as adding great depth to the dish, and give that a quick mix just for 10 seconds. Next, pour in 400 milliliters or 1 can of coconut milk, which is going to be our sweet, floral and slightly nutty base. 400 grams or 1 can of diced tomatoes, which is the second part of the base to this dish, and make sure to get it all in there just to avoid any wastage. 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of brown sugar to balance the acidity of the tomatoes. And for the main ingredient, add in 800 grams or 2 cans of chickpeas. And if you're going to be using dried chickpeas, make sure to check out the description down below for the way to soak and prepare them for this dish. Anyway, once all those ingredients are in, let's mix this all together for those flavours to become friends. Once mixed, give it a quick check for seasoning, to which I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes, and 2 teaspoons or 20 cracks of black pepper, which some of you may disagree with me adding pepper to this dish, but it adds a great kick to so many dishes, so why not? We can then mix that through so the seasoning can join in on the flavour friendship, and bring this to a boil. Once at a boil, give it another quick mix to get those flavours moving around, then reduce the heat to low and allow this to simmer away for 15 minutes, giving it a stir every 5 minutes or so. And during this time, the sauce will reduce and thicken up, creating amazing flavour as well as a fantastic deep red colour. This has now been 15 minutes and you can see that the sauce has really thickened up and that colour has become a really deep red. We can then add in 1.5 cups or 70 grams of fresh baby spinach, which is going to add additional nutrition values as well as a great contrast of colour. All we need to do is gently mix this through just until it softens up, which will take roughly 20 to 30 seconds. Once that's done, we can stop mixing, turn it off the heat and remove it from the stovetop. Then just quickly, to cook some rice, place a large heavy base saucepan onto your stovetop and chuck in 1 cup or 200 grams of Basmati rice that's been rinsed under cold water to remove any impurities and excess starch, which will also reduce the chances of gloopy rice. To this, add in 1 star anise for a nice earthy aniseed flavour, 2 green cardamom pods for beautiful aromatics, 1 dried or fresh bay leaf for a herbal flavour as well as fragrance, 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes, and last but not least, 1.5 cups or 370 milliliters of cold water. Give it a quick stir to break up any clumps of rice if there are any, and what we can then do is place this onto a high heat and bring it to a boil. Once boiling, chuck on the lid, reduce the heat to low, and allow the rice to cook for 12 minutes completely undisturbed. After 12 minutes, we can turn it off the heat, leaving the lid on so it can continue steaming, and move it to a cooler part of your stovetop just for a further 10 minutes. Once that's done, we can then remove the lid, being careful of the escaping steam, and remove the spices as they're no longer needed. Then using a spatula or a fork, gently fluff up the rice to loosen the grains and make sure that there's no clumps. This can then be removed from the stovetop and we can start assembling the dish. I like to place a nice pile of rice in the centre of the bowl, then spoon over that deliciously rich and creamy chickpea curry. To top it, we can add some yogurt for a tasty tang as well as adding a great balance to the dish. Some fresh coriander or cilantro for some colour and also a nice little bit of flavour. Some fresh thinly sliced chilli, which is optional. And to finish it off, a wedge of lime that will add the most delicious acidic and citrusy note, which we can then squeeze over the top, and finally, dig in. After experimenting with this dish, I can happily say that that is spot on. The flavours are extremely well balanced, with it being slightly sweet and umami flavour, as well as being rich, creamy and extremely fragrant. This recipe makes 4 serves and it can easily be doubled, tripled and so on. It can be placed in the fridge for up to 5 days and it can also be frozen for up to 6 months. To reheat it, you can place it in the microwave or you can chuck it in a pan and reheat it over a medium heat. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I was able to teach you something. If you did, be sure to smash that like button and consider subscribing to see hundreds of more fantastic recipes. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.